I fell victim to the idea that like it was progress, it was progress, it was progress. We have to care about the environment. It was progress. And it's like, no, like we've been losing. America has been losing. And Donald Trump understood that in a way that I didn't. And I thought,
think we have to care about the environment? Like,
no, not even a little bit. Like,
not even a little bit?
I have to understand what exactly is the real imminent threat to human life. I mean, the idea that the gradual rise of sea levels is going to kill hundreds of millions of people it's just fantasy. It's just fantasy. It's not going to kill. They act like the day after tomorrow is how global warming is going to be.
I don't throw trash on the ground. Like okay. I'm not saying like we need to like trash the environment. Like but do I believe in climate change? No.
You don't believe in climate change?
Well, I think the climate always changes.
The left says about climate change is basically you're a climate change denier, therefore you're a fool.
The fact that there is a disparity in the science community about whether or not it's real is enough to...
It's very little.
Yep.
Very little disparity. Most scientists, the vast majority, agree that human beings are negatively affecting climate change.
Yeah.
The vast majority.
Yeah, I just don't think so.
I'm sorry, it's not Holocaust denial. The use of the language denier is pretty ridiculous.
In the vast majority, 87% of scientists said that human activity is driving global warming, yet only half the American public ascribe to that view. So,
well, what website is
87%, and this is
Scientific American.
Yeah.
Yeah, .com though, like that means it's making money. I don't trust that. If it was a .org, I would probably take that. But this is just a random website, and I don't trust.
Scientific American is not necessarily a random website.
Yeah, I don't believe this like at all. Just so you know.
You don't believe it like at all?
Oh, why, hello there, Internet. How are you today? So I received a lot of questions from some of you asking me to hashtag Blexit, telling me it was time to hashtag walk away. And you know, I'm personally not really feeling it. Okay, so list of reasons why I do not think doing the whole hashtag Blexit thing is the right thing for me.
White power! Yes, there you go.
It is reflective of a narrative that the left would like to push, which is that President Trump is a white supremacist. Does anyone really think that President Trump, even the people who think that, wow, he's a racist dummy and all that, even those people, do you think that he really would intentionally retweet a video in which somebody is shouting white power, which is what happens in this video?
Yes, Benjamin. Yes, I do.
When you're bored, you just start retweeting things. And when you retweet things, you don't always watch the video all the way to the end. And President Trump, as we know, has the attention span of a gnat.
That's not a fucking excuse. He's the president. He had like 80 million followers at the time. How many followers does he have now on Twitter? That's just irresponsible. You need to be responsible with your platform. And if you can't even be responsible with your Twitter platform, I don't expect you to be responsible as a president. And clearly...
Well, I think, Bob, really, to be honest with you...
Sure, I want you to be.
I wanted to always play it down. I still like playing it down.
Yes,
because I don't want to create a panic.
But yeah, I would just say that I personally, in my heart of hearts, I care a lot more about how are we going to get through this pandemic. I know that there are other countries on the planet that were affected by this pandemic, and they seem to be doing a lot better than us. So I'm kind of curious about what we can do to get on the track that they got on instead of, you know, whatever's going on here, because I also kind of wanted to address like climate change. I'm really concerned about the environment. Apparently, if you listen to scientists, you're like a diehard leftist.
Why are you saying that you don't think it exists?
I don't know. Maybe because it got because it got so politicized.
Studies into scientific agreement on human-caused global warming. It's between 100% and 91% at the lowest. 91% of one of the studies from 2014.
This is the Union of Concerned Scientists.org.
Yeah. They almost, it's a pretty broad consensus.
Who are they polling? Is it the people that are a part?
Ben Shapiro, Candace Owens, you guys have left me no choice. I have no choice but to continue being a leftist because I really care about the environment. You know, like during the summertime, I had a really hard time getting up out of bed, not just because of my depression, but also because it was very smoky. California was on fire and I could not breathe. And it was less smoky underneath my covers, which is where I was until I was able to get a hold of an air purifier, which cost like $300. That's not the kind of planet that I want to give to the unborn.
Yet they offer no protection at all for unborn Americans.
That's not what I want for them. I don't want them to go outside and have the sky be orange. I don't like it when the sky is orange. I like it when the sky is blue. You know what I'm saying? And I would say that things like managing the pandemic in a responsible way, worrying about climate change, actually acknowledging climate change as a real thing, and giving me a real concrete plan on how to address climate change, then, oh, well, if the sea levels rise and all of the ice caps decide to melt, why not just sell your house to fucking Aquaman? No, Benjamin. No, I do not want to sell my house to fucking Aquaman. Anyway, all of those things that I just mentioned, the pandemic, the environment, planet Earth, making sure that we take care of our mother, we respect our mother, that matters to me more than the fact that Harry Styles decided to wear a dress on the cover of Vogue. I'm sorry. I don't understand this whole concept of climate change, the environment, what the hell ever. Oh, like 90-something% of the scientists agree that climate change is a big issue and that we should work to address it like now. But did you see that man wearing a dress? Oh my God, think of the children. If you guys care about the damn children so much, then you should care about climate change, because I want the children, including the children who have not yet been born, and I know that you guys claim to care about the unborn so goddamn much, those future generations of children, I want them to live on a healthy and habitable planet. So I'm sorry, but I'm not a Republican. I'm just not, okay? So as you guys might know, both Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro were trending on Twitter because they decided to piss off the wrong fan base. This catastrophizing, bring back manly men. I think that Harry Styles is just a tad bit more masculine than Ben Shapiro. And Harry Styles deciding what he's going to wear, that's not going to prevent other men from wearing menswear if they choose to wear menswear. In toxic masculinity, this is an example of toxic masculinity. It doesn't mean all men are trash, all men are awful, all men should become women. I will say that when it comes to fashion, menswear is fairly boring. You go to a special event, all of the men are wearing tuxes. Sometimes there's a vest, sometimes there's not a vest, but it's usually the same color scheme. They all look very similar. Whereas women, they have much more interesting gowns, or I guess power suits, or there's just so much more variety with women's wear. You can wear a gown in any color, any sort of length or cut, or there's just a lot that you can do with a gown that you cannot necessarily do with a tuxedo. And I think that as long as we have this division where men's wear is more boring than women's wear, we will see more and more male celebrities dabble in women's wear because they're celebrities, because they are artistic, they want to express themselves artistically, and there's just more room to do that with women's wear in this day and age. Again, maybe in the future that might change. Maybe in the future men's wear might, introduce some more colors, some more variety, something more interesting. But right now, wearing a dress is just a lot more interesting, and I think that Harry Styles looks very pretty in it. I do like seeing all of those Twitter replies of men wearing dresses. Hassan Abi was just...
If masculinity and femininity existed on such binary terms, then how am I and Ben Shapiro in the same fucking category? Like, he's 5 foot. He can't grow facial hair. He's got a tiny little baby voice.
Wet ass P-word. Make that pullout game weak.
If masculinity and femininity were such rigorous binary constructs, then I would be a man and Ben Shapiro would be not a man.
Now, even though I did say that, yeah, I'm not going to join Brexit, not a snowball's chance in hell, I do have something here to show you. I used to be a Republican. Now, this diary entry is actually from 2004. I was a minor. I was not old enough to vote. I was 16 years younger than I am now, but like super embarrassing. But what led me to that conclusion? I was raised in a conservative Christian household. We went to church every Sunday where they fear-mongered about the gays. I talked to people at the time who did not support Bush and they did not support the Iraq War, and every point that they brought up, I actually agreed with. I didn't support the Iraq War either, but you know what made me look past that? All of this fear-mongering, this whole idea that, oh my God, Massachusetts let gay people get married, the world's gonna end. And I can't believe I used to think that way, but as you can see in my diary entry, I mentioned how I was like slacking on my English homework. That was the English class that changed my life, because at the end of that English class, we learned about rhetoric. We learned about like manipulative arguments, about persuasion, about logical fallacies. And I took all of that information that I learned about rhetoric and I applied it to when I went to church, and I was able to see right through all of the arguments. That English class is what made me who I am today. There's a longer story in there somewhere, but the short answer to all of this, I care more about the planet, I care more about the pandemic than I care about Harry Styles wearing a goddamn dress. And if a guy wants to wear a dress, let him wear a goddamn dress. I don't think that the world is going to end over that. I really don't. I'm sorry.